Today's WNEM TV5 Evening Extra is brought to you by the Law Office of Carol Thomas.
Big bets expected ahead of the big game this weekend, and in today's day and age, gambling is easier than ever before.
And that makes the Super Bowl a dangerous time for those struggling with gambling addiction.
A clinical psychologist tells TV5's James Felton how to know when gambling is no longer just fun and games.
The reality of it is, every time you push the button on a machine or place a bet, the odds are always the same, and they're not in your favor.
Stephen Brooks is a retired clinical psychologist who spent almost 25 years working with people suffering from gambling addiction. He says if you're planning to gamble for the Super Bowl, stay in between the lines and don't go out of bounds.
Set a fixed amount that you're going to stay within, and then try to stay within that amount. That's at least one boundary set up to keep you from getting in trouble.
Brooks gave us signs to look out for that may signal you are developing an addiction. The most notable is chasing your losses.
And that's when people get into serious trouble, because now I've spent my kids' college money, or I've spent the grocery money, or I've spent the mortgage money, or my car payment money, and now none of my friends or my family will give me that money, and I got to get that money back to make these bills. That is typically when they're reaching the top of that pinnacle of when they're heading into a problem.
Brooks says it's important to have a friend to call to talk us down if the urge to bet doesn't go away. Brooks also tells us that most gamblers have a short memory of their losses and don't remember the pain that comes with that.
Take a sheet of paper and write down what's going on with you. You know, I spent my $500. I have no car payment. I have no money to buy groceries or gas this week. I know everybody's going to be mad at me. I feel like dying. I feel, sick to my stomach about. So write that stuff down and put it in your wallet. And if you're in the moment of that, try to pull it out and remind yourself how you got yourself into this problem so that it doesn't do that again.
Brooks reminds us that there is help available for people with a gambling addiction. They can start by calling 1-800-MY-RESET, the National Problem Gambling Helpline. James Felton, WNEM TV5.
And for more information to fight gambling addiction, go to the Thursday Hot Link section on our website, WNEM.com. A reminder for a planned outage in the city of Midland tonight. Consumers Energy says starting at 11, crews will make upgrades to the system. More than 1,100 homes and businesses will have their service interrupted until as late as 3 tomorrow morning. You can see the areas impacted for the planned outage on your screen. Consumers says affected customers were previously notified.
Midland Township awarded as a renewables-ready community in an effort to expand clean energy. The State Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy says 9 communities will share the grant worth more than $3.8 million. Although the project is still awaiting state approval, Midland Township was awarded $750,000. The money is for Salzburg battery storage, a 150-megawatt project with construction expected to be complete in December of 2028. Officials with Eagle say the program incentivizes communities to host renewable energy projects by providing awards that supplement the project's tax revenue and community benefits.
Well, snow chances continue here as we get through the 6 o'clock hour. And when we look at our sky tracker, it does show we actually continue to see development here, especially along 127. So don't be surprised if you are going to see light to moderate snowfall over the next hour or so. For the most part, though, we should eventually dry off. Our next round of snow will arrive as early as 3 to 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. That may end up leading to some travel issues for tomorrow morning. So just be prepared for that if you do have to get out and about. Temperatures right now are mostly sitting in the 20s. You have lower 20s to the east, mid to upper 20s out west. It's Mount Pleasant at 27, Midland at 25, and Saginaw at 25, leading the way here across the state. Then we look at our wind. It has picked up just a little bit here throughout the day. It's a wind out of the southwest at 5 to 15 miles per hour. That wind will continue to increase through tonight into tomorrow before increasing even more for Friday afternoon. So be prepared for windy conditions. And with that combination of wind and temperatures, our feels like temperatures are sitting in the lower teens. So it's definitely feeling cool out there as you get out and about for your Thursday afternoon routine. And then as you get out the door, just be prepared to see that light snow chance continue and temperatures staying in the 20s.
Thank you, Stone. There's an invasive weed in Michigan pushing out native plants and destroying wildlife habitats. Here it is right here. It's called a spotted knapweed. It looks like a beautiful flower, but it's incredibly damaging to our ecosystem. Now, there are some options to kill it, but the state says the strongest way to get rid of it is by using an invasive beetle.
Feed on either the seeds or the roots of the knapweed plant. Kill them, reduce their reproduction, and thus lower the population.
But it's a sticky situation because honeybees love knapweed flowers as well. The state agriculture department wants to hear what you think about the plan to kill the plants. They're accepting public comment until March 6th.
This has been such an incredible experience. We had a guest wait in line yesterday at about 3 o'clock to be our first guest today.
Bay County has officially joined the herd. The new Chick-fil-A opened on Wilder Road in Bangor Township to a crowd of hungry guests. The owner of this franchise says after the corporation showed him this location, which is the parking lot of the former Kmart building, he knew it was the perfect fit.
They showed me the location. I came and sat in the parking lot and saw it was just an awesome traffic flow coming off the two streets and thought it'd just be a great place to have a business. We definitely have traffic plans in place. I have great grand opening supervisors from corporate that have thought through the lot and planned accordingly for that high demand in our parking lot.
Chick-fil-A is also giving a $25,000 donation to Feeding America to be split between its partners in Flint, Saginaw, and Bay City to fight hunger. And there's still time for you to enjoy some free food. All you have to do is come dressed in your best cow print or cow print accessories. The Bangor Township Chick-fil-A is open until 10.
Delta College is holding a food distribution next week. School officials say you can pick up free groceries Tuesday from 10 to noon at the downtown Saginaw Center. The distribution includes fresh produce, pantry staples, and other items. No appointment necessary. Now, this is open to the community, and volunteers will be on site to assist with loading. It is first come, first served. Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin says she will not sit for an interview with the Justice Department regarding an investigation into a video she organized urging U.S. military members to resist, quote, illegal orders. The Justice Department's inquiry came after President Trump accused Slotkin and 5 other Democratic lawmakers of sedition. She says sitting for an interview would legitimize the Trump administration's actions.
They are purposely using physical and legal intimidation to get me to shut up. But more importantly, they're using that intimidation to deter others from speaking out against their administration. The intimidation is the point, and I'm not going to go along with that. That's why I've asked Pirro and Bondi to retain all records on this case in line with the law.
Slotkin's lawyer requested the investigation be terminated. She says she is considering litigation.
Free tickets for students interested in the performing arts.
The program from the Temple Theater giving young people an up-close look at professional performers.
A prehistoric experience for your family at the Midland Mall. Still ahead, the interactive learning experience during Jurassic Weekend. Tax season is underway, and that means many of us will see the changes made by President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
The law approved last year ushers in new federal tax changes, including one that affects those who like to go to the casino or make a wager or two.
TV5's James Felton spoke with the owner and financial advisor of Great Lakes Investment Advisors in Midland to find out what you need to know about reporting your gambling losses.
The limits of being able to write off your losses is limited at 90%. You still have to be itemizing, but you can only write off 90% of your losses now rather than 100%.
And that means those who gamble will be taxed on 10% of their losses. A tax change for the 2025 tax year that's part of the One Big Beautiful Bill. Jason Kreiderman is the owner and financial advisor of Great Lakes Investment Advisors in Midland.
That's really what they call a phantom gain. You'd be paying taxes on a gain you didn't actually realize, because when you won 10,000, lost 10,000, you net at zero, but only being able to write off 90% of those losses, you end up paying taxes on a $1,000 phantom gain, a gain you never really saw.
Kreiderman says that 10% change means those who wager could see an impact on what they get from Uncle Sam.
Oh, you only want to pay taxes on income you physically earned. However, if it's money that you really didn't see and you're paying taxes on it, it could really surprise you when you do your tax return and think you might be getting a refund back, but because of that, you may eat into a refund, or it may actually end up have you owe taxes at the end of the year when you didn't anticipate that.
Given that, Kreiderman tells us record keeping will be more important than ever if you hit the casino or use the betting apps.
You're going to want to keep really, really good tabs of every dollar that you win and every dollar that you lose. Because, obviously we always want to win, but we also want to reduce our tax exposure as much as we can.
And Kreiderman does not believe this new tax rule will change the behavior for those who bet, nor will it have a big impact on the gambling industry.
More local news. Young artists can now get a free seat to a performance at the Temple Theater. The Seats for Students program gives complimentary tickets for one youth and one accompanying adult to attend select live performances. The first eligible event is March 10th and features Joshua Bell and the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. You can register and find more information in the hot links section of WNEM.com.
Dinosaurs are taking over the Midland Mall. This weekend is another chance for you to enjoy a Jurassic weekend. The prehistoric playground takes families on an exciting walk through exhibits showcasing life-size realistic dinosaurs that move and roar. There will also be educational workshops, face painting, vendors, and more. Jurassic Weekend opens Friday at the Midland Mall, and you can get your tickets in the hot links section on our website.
Well, we've had a snowy Thursday that will carry over for parts of tonight into tomorrow morning, as a second round of snow will look to develop ahead of a front that looks to move through mid-Michigan. We take a look at our hour by hour. That snow chance does look to sort of linger at times, but for the most part will be dry. Just a few isolated snow chances here or there. Our more consistent snow chance, well, that's going to arrive as early as 3 to 4 a.m., becoming more widespread by the time we hit 5 to 6 a.m. So you can see areas all the way from Bad Axe down to Flint and Owasso into the Tri-Cities, Mount Pleasant and Clare, seeing that snow chance move itself through. I think tomorrow morning could be a little bit different than what we had today. I think it's going to be a quick moving snow at times, maybe heavier than what we had today. But like I mentioned, it's quick moving. It's going to be pretty much out of the region by about 9 a.m. It's going to be right around midday. We could see some redevelopment as that front does move itself through. That's where we could see some more heavy snowfall. So be prepared for that, especially along the 75 corridor right around noon. Then we get into the afternoon. We're dry. We actually could see some sunshine at times. And then Sunday looks to be, or Saturday, I should say, looks to be another dry day with some sunshine, just some cloud cover trying to develop right around mid-afternoon. Because of that system wanting to shift to the southwest, we did lower the snow potential just a little bit. 1 to 2 inches looks to be more commonly what we're seeing. I'm not still going to count out a few areas up to 3 inches possible, but I think it's an area that's a little bit smaller, especially with that drier early this morning. And again, that system moving to the south-southwest. Then we get to Friday afternoon. Highs are back into the mid to lower 30s. And when I say Friday afternoon, it's really right around early afternoon. This is our highs right right around noon, because by the end of the morning, that cold front's going to move in, and we're going to see cold air start to filter itself into mid-Michigan. I think by sunset, we may end up being back into the single digits, closer to 0. So definitely a drop-off for our Friday afternoon, and we're going to stay windy. As that front moves in, our winds increase. This is 2 p.m. on Friday, seeing our winds at 20 to 45 miles per hour. So definitely a breezy Friday afternoon. And because of that temperature drop and our wind staying strong through Friday night into Saturday morning, we're going to continue to see our feels like temperatures be impacted. Here is Saturday morning at 4 a.m. Feels like temperatures at teens and 20s below 0, and that will continue for a majority of the morning. It won't be until the early afternoon that we see our temperatures recover with highs back in the teens. We see that here on our 7-day forecast. The remainder of the weekend, we're back into the 20s on Sunday. There will be a few light chances on Sunday, and then next week it's back into the 20s and 30s. But because we're back above freezing, we may have to watch out for a wintry mix on both Tuesday and Wednesday, with more snow on Thursday.
Thank you, Stone. Continuing coverage, a new anonymous reporting form from the state concerning immigration enforcement. It comes after Attorney General Dana Nessel says her office received more than 5,000 emails from residents concerned about immigration activity in their communities. Rachel Fulton reports while supporters say it creates accountability, opponents say it could interfere with enforcement.
In this political and social climate, many Michiganders say accountability doesn't start in a courtroom. It starts on a phone. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel is asking residents to document immigration activity throughout the state using a new immigration action reporting form.
I think this is extremely good that we're moving in this direction because it shows that Michigan is willing to protect its citizens.
But not everyone sees it as protection.
In a few blue states where the governors and the mayors are encouraging people to get out there and try to engage with ICE, try to stop them from doing their jobs. That's where the problems are.
Senator Jim Runstad says where state and federal agencies cooperate, enforcement continues without conflict.
What they do in places like sanctuary cities, which the Democrats want in Michigan, is they just release them out onto the public, to continue doing more harm. And the Democrats are fine with that.
Cole McEldanny, who works closely with the Jackson County Immigrant Coalition, argues the form isn't about stopping enforcement, but about creating a record when official details aren't always clear.
Up until now, we have not had confirmation that people wouldn't be wearing masks, that they would be having badges or, police cams on them. We need to be ready to get all the documentation together for ourselves.
Still, critics warn the form could be used for more than documentation.
There's no prohibition. This is just a political farce, a game that she's playing to highlight herself.
Critics of the new form warn that since anyone is able to submit information, there is a chance false or excessive reports could flood the system, making it harder to identify legitimate complaints.
The Four Lakes Task Force providing an update on the winter construction work on the dams. Due to snow and extremely cold temperatures last month, the task force said concrete pours were slowed, but crews continued working by placing forms and rebar and working on control buildings. Smallwood Dam's substantial completion date has been delayed by a month, but Sanford Dam is now seen as substantially complete. The process to begin refilling Sanford Lake is expected to begin on April 15th. The Four Lakes Task Force will hold its first webinar of 2026 on March 4th from 5 to 7. There, property owners can learn more about the construction process and the latest timeline on lake restoration. We'll have more details as the date approaches.
A substitute teacher arrested for child porn. The Saginaw County Undersheriff says Jesus Gutierrez Vasquez is being held on a $100,000 bond after he was arraigned on 6 felonies, including 3 counts of possession of child sexually abusive material. 6 Saginaw County school districts, you can see their logos right there. They sent a joint letter to their communities, including Saginaw Intermediate, Bridgeport, Carlton, Swan Valley and Freeland, saying Gutierrez-Vasquez had subbed in the area and was employed through Educational Staffing Solutions, a third-party staff provider that conducts required background checks and employment screening required by law to work in schools. He's been blocked in the substitute system while the investigation continues. The districts say there's no information that any students were involved in the crimes that he's accused of. All new tonight, from a holiday contest winner to a beloved winter icon, Jeffrey the Snowman is more than just snow. The unique construction and the family's dedication that keeps this smiling giant coming back year after year. That's on the news at 10 on the Great Lakes Sports and Entertainment Network.
Then on TV5 News at 11, Detroit Tigers Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal wins $32 million in arbitration. What it means for the team.
Also at 11, a Connecticut family ignoring a summons for jury duty without penalty. Why it shouldn't have been sent in the first place.
And we take a look at your 7-day forecast here. We're back into the 30s for tomorrow. There will be a snow chance in the morning that we'll have to keep an eye out. Could make roads difficult to travel. Then we get to our weekend, teens and 20s. And then next week, we're back into the 20s and 30s. May have to keep an eye out on an isolated wintry mix. And if you want more from your TV5 First Alert weather team, we'll tune in tonight near 9 p.m. where First Alert Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick will have more updates on the weather for the next couple of days.
I'm glad you read that because I was going to say you were going to do it.
Yeah, not me.
So Chris will be back.
Chris will be back later today.
Good to know. All right, thank you, Stone. Thank you for watching WNEM Evening Extra. Of course, keep up with us as the news breaks online, on our app, or on social media.
We'll see you at 11.